Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about something today that I feel that many of us ponder, wonder about, try to piece it together, and that is modern medicine, Western medicine, the way our system is designed, insurance companies, all of this. We're all involved in it. We all need medical help from time to time. We all need insurance. We all pay a visit to the doctor. It's not the same as it was years ago. What's going on here? We're going to talk with somebody who has a lot of insight, many different areas. First and foremost, an acupuncturist. He offers hypnotherapy, many modalities, coaching as well. And it's so great to have him back with us. Distefano is on the program. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks. How about you, Steve?
I'm intrigued about what we're going to talk about and how we're going to position it today. Where should we begin? What are you feeling?
I'm going to begin with a definition. The definition for perverse incentive. And that occurs when a reward system unintentionally encourages behaviors that are harmful or counterproductive to the intended goal. So in the medical system, we make more money if someone is sick, but our job is ostensibly to get someone well. So right there, you have the conflict.
You have a conflict.
And then the way the system is structured, I saw a woman the other day, migraines for 5 weeks, and she had high blood pressure, visual disturbance, blah, 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 all this stuff. Got put on one drug after another. Nothing was really doing what it was supposed to. She felt a little bit better, but also felt very out of it and the other side effects of those medications. She was referred in, and I saw her. I put, basically, I went through the motions and took her intake because I already knew what to do first. There's a muscle on the neck called the SCM. I may have spoken about this before, sternocleidomastoid. That muscle, 100% of the time, if someone comes in with a migraine, I'm going to release that muscle. 90% of the time, that's going to resolve most of the migraine. So she went to all of these doctors, had every test, all these specialists. Not a single one of them addresses that muscle. They'll throw drugs on you and put you on them for life. They don't look at the muscle. And following the insurance model, that's the path of least resistance for most people. We're funneled and encouraged because it's, if you have good insurance, it's out of pocket 20, out of pocket 20, out of pocket 50, whatever. If you don't have great insurance, it's different, but we are habituated into believing that model works. I used to think it. I'm like, how can this guy, one of my patients earlier in the day, this woman was trying to conceive for months. I've seen her that was the third visit. She came in and told me she was pregnant. So I do everything. Why would I be better at doing migraines than a person who says they specialize in it? I don't know, but I do get the better results. This muscle in the neck, nobody looks at it. I can't explain why. I guess they follow procedure. I don't know. And that's where we go. Now, on my side of the fence, there's a moral hazard as well. There's a perverse incentive, and a lot of people do what's called practice management. And that's the business side of practice. And what they teach us is to catastrophize. And you'll see that a lot in psychology as well, where people, it's implicit or explicit. In my side, we're taught to explicitly say, oh my goodness, if you don't take care of this problem, you're going to die. Let's book 30 sessions. You'll get 30% off. Just pay up front and we'll finance it if you want to. And I find that to be so reprehensible. But that's what so many of people that have cash practices are taught to do.
Mm. Wow. How do you get around that in our system? It's just a program to continually generate revenue. To your point, I went to a doctor last fall. I had elevated ferritin levels. I was pretty sure it came from just this wacky virus I had. It was weird. Never get sick. It was a hematologist, and he sees me, looks at the labs and everything. Wasn't really sure. Took some other tests. They were all negative. And he said, "Doctor, I think it might be this virus." I mean, because I've read and even heard from somebody I knew who's an infectious disease doctor that back in the day with COVID, that was the marker for a virus, ferritin levels, right? And he's like, "All right, well," he was a nice doctor. He's like, well, give it a couple of weeks and come back. So I come back, they do another lab or whatever, not coming up with any answers. And he's like, "All right, well, we'll do further testing." I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. I'm on the hook for this with my insurance. I got to hit this crazy deductible. I'm paying out of pocket for all of it." He's like, "Oh, well, then just let it go. We'll come back in a few months." Chris, just that journey alone, I don't even know the numbers, but I'm probably in for a couple of grand on that. And what was the end result? I got nothing. I have not gone back for labs yet. It's been, I don't know, 6 months or whatever. Check up on it. I'll bet you they're fine now. It just took time to mitigate. But there you go. Like once he heard that I'm paying, then it was like, oh, put the brakes on it. They're programmed to generate revenue.
Yes. And because of the threat of lawsuits and the way compliance works, if a doctor deviates from standards, and standards are absolutely insane, let me tell you, you want to get something fun, read up about cholesterol, which our body makes, and read up on the side effects of statins, and read up on the good studies. It's not exactly something that standard of throwing statins at everyone, and they keep lowering the cholesterol numbers, very, 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 very unhealthy. Statins are neuroprotective. Our liver makes it because it's an important, the cholesterol is neuroprotective, not statins. Our liver makes the cholesterol to help our body, not to spite us. And the statins interfere with the liver's ability to do its job. But they're prescribing it left and right. And if a doctor doesn't, they have to write up why they don't. So the whole system grinds you into being compliant. It's absolutely. I had a patient coming yesterday. This guy came in, he's telling me a whole long story, and it ends with, "So I had carpal tunnel surgery and my hand is still not so great." He told his wife, he knew I was going to give him the what for. And I did. I'm like, "Why didn't you see me first? It's your neck." But he has good insurance. He followed, one step leads to the next. Next thing you know, he has carpal tunnel surgery. That was a waste of time. These doctors, some of them are absolutely fantastic. I tell anyone, if you see a doctor who says, "I don't want to do surgery when you're at this point, then come back and talk to me," stick to that guy like glue. That's one of the ways to tell. And frankly, people have to remember, it's your body. My body, my choice. When you walk into that office, it's your choice. No one can tell you what to do. If you don't want to take something, if it doesn't feel right to you, if it goes against what you are, don't do it. No one's going to force you. People are like, "Oh, I don't want to be on this pill, but my doctor," and I'm like, who's there in the morning when you're taking your pill? Get a second opinion.
You're so right. And we put medical professionals on a pedestal. And yes, there's a lot of training, a lot of great doctors, but doesn't mean they're right. Doesn't mean they're right. Just because they have a white lab coat and walk around with a stethoscope doesn't mean that they have all the answers. They're not miracle workers. They make mistakes. I experienced that even in the last 6 months with another situation where they told me I had stage 3 cancer. It was horrible. Oh, yeah. In fact, I just wrote the medical provider where they did simulations for radiation and all of that, and now they're charging me $1,200. I said, "Well, you made these simulations because the doctor said, 'I think you have stage 3 cancer.' I got a second opinion. Chris, he was wrong. It wasn't. I just had some minor surgery, had it removed and done. I don't think I should have to pay that $1,200. You did a simulation for something that was incorrect and didn't take place." It's just autopilot. They just keep, churning this stuff out with, and after I saw another doctor for a second opinion, he goes, stage 3. I'm like, scale of 1 to 10. What do you think? You're a 10 being, yeah. He goes, you're under a 1. He goes, do a biopsy. We'll be fine. Here you go. And he was right. He's right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And that's because you're a guy who knows who you are. A lot of people would have stuck with their original diagnosis and gone in that whole rabbit hole of unnecessary work.
Chris, go with your gut. That's
Always.
where I remember that phone call when that doctor called me late January this year. I can tell you what time the call came in. It was 5:07 p.m. I'm sitting there. I'm like, stage what? And after this whole dissertation of everything that, he thought, we hang up. I'm like, whoa. But my gut said, something's not adding up here. Phone rings again. I pick it up. He says, yeah, I forgot to mention, on your shin, it looks like you have a hot spot too, based on the CAT scan. I'm like, what? And I look down. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, you might want to look at that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Goodbye. I look down. I'm like, it looks like a blanking pimple. It was nothing. False alarm. But can't make it up. Those are facts. False alarms. Yeah.
Well, that's a big issue. And fascinatingly, oncologists, and this is one of those things behind the curtain, oncologists are one of the few professions that can get paid for the drugs they prescribe because they also administer the chemo.
So it financially benefits them from prescribing and administering.
Perverse incentives. That I don't know enough about it. I'm not making this as 100, but yes, I actually just checked myself before I said that because I'm like, I don't want someone to go the wrong way. You look at people that are in, let's say, let's take therapy. How many people do you know are like, yeah, I went to like 5 or 6 sessions and I'm fine, versus how many people have been doing therapy for 20 years?
Right.
So there has to be some sort of incentive to never tell someone they're well. When I spoke with someone who does therapy, I was like, I was depressed. I'm like, I want to be happy. Oh, that's not a realistic outcome. So my whole thing is, why would I play a game I've already lost? So I did it my way. and I got to win. But it's like every branch of medicine. It's not about cure. A cured patient is a patient lost. So I follow my own ethics. My ethics are, if I took a class with a guy who gave a good practice management. It wasn't a practice management class, but he gave good practice management advice. He said, don't worry about getting people well. They'll send friends.
Don't worry about getting people well. They'll send friends.
Well, everyone else says, keep this guy forever. I had a guy come in. He had autonomic imbalance and all this other stuff. He says, I saw the acupuncturist up the road. I saw him for 30 visits. I didn't get better. I'm like, this man is obviously high-level sales, very low-level ethics, and probably not the best practitioner, because I got this guy better in 4 visits. I'm like, you went there 30 times and didn't get better and paid out of pocket.
Wow.
I can't.
And we're not throwing medical practitioners under the bus here. There's good and bad everywhere. It's just a different view of what is happening or can be happening in our system. Looking behind the curtain here, I'm not surprised, but it's like hearing it, coming from you is it's uncomfortable that we have to even think that way.
Even medical research, look at how much money's been spent on the research, but we have declining health at this point and declining lifespan. So what did it all do? And so much of it is administrative costs that go in. There's so many people that profit from point A to point B. It's very hard to find in basically any field at this point. It's almost like our society has reached a point where we're done improving and now we're just sort of churning. And medicine is one of the most obvious.
We're maintaining. We're maintaining. That's what it sounds
Maintaining would be a lovely way to put it. That's because maintaining implies holding. We're actually declining because we're just squandering resources. And we're not. This is what bothers me the most. I'm going to go back to that woman with the migraines. I've had patients suffering for years, some decades, before they see me. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I'm not that smart that I should be able to outdo all the experts. Why is the model not addressing the causes in any of these people I see? And they see the best people for migraines. It's like the doctors, and because everyone's following the standards of care and no longer looking at a human being, looking at a full person. Like, I take what I do very, very seriously because this is a person's life. They're coming to me to help them. They've probably seen a lot of other people. My job is to do everything I can. And I can't wrap my head around someone who doesn't.
Same way. I think the same way. How can you knowingly not do the best for that person?
Yeah.
But maybe some people think that they are. I don't know how that would be. Even in the case of the doctor I saw that said, "Oh, you're paying for it? Oh, no, tap the brakes on that." Well, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? And I just got another bill from that doctor. I didn't even look. What is that? $192. What is that?
Well, part of what I do, I'm very, 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 very lucky. My interests, hobbies, and passion all happen to overlap completely with my work. So I'm constantly improving what I do. Someone else, it may be like they got out of school and now it's all just paperwork and it's a churn, so they've stagnated. Once you stagnate, I guess we could call it maintaining, but it's not. It's stagnation. Yeah. And life does not like stagnation. So what you're delivering is going to be, it's not
subpar. It's going to be subpar.
Yes.
What's your advice for the average person? You have a challenge. You go to the doctor. What should we do? Should we question it? Second opinion? I don't know. I'm throwing things out there. I don't know. What's your, coming from the eyes of the lens of a medical practitioner? What would you suggest?
First thing I suggest is focus on your lifestyle. Look at your stress. I had a woman come in yesterday, a patient I've seen for a while. I haven't seen her for a bit, but I've known her for a long time. Her hip was killing her, but we're talking and she's like, there's something that's been vexing me for a really long time. And she knows me, so she hasn't told anyone else about this. But as we talked through it, she saw the way to handle it. Because I'm like, that's the only thing that's going to fix your body. So where you're holding stress, get your body moving, watch what you eat, reduce your stress. I'm not answering your question, but I kind of am, because this is what's going to keep you out of the doctor's office. Once you go there and they tell you something, you nailed it, Steve. If you don't like what you're hearing, if it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't sit true to you, get a second opinion. Talk to anyone that you know that might know something. Like, don't try to handle it alone if you don't know, because it is overwhelming. And, this is really good. If your doctor can't explain it in plain English, walk out the door. Because that means they do not understand it. They're regurgitating textbook. Yeah.
And I'm a big proponent of your intuition, and that medical challenge I had, my intuition was screaming at me. No, yeah. This is connected to that virus you had. This is not, doesn't make sense. No. And I kept searching and found the answer. I don't know everything, but I listened to my intuition, and it right away was literally screaming at me, especially when the doctor called back and said, I have a hot spot on my shin, and it was a pimple. Like, Okay. And what do I know what a pimple looks like? I don't know. Could not. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But I know my intuition said, and it said, nope, that's not. You're good. You're good. But of course, I had to get to that point of feeling better with another doctor, another test. But it comes down to, I guess, when it comes to your health, you are your own advocate. You're it. You can't rely on others. You can rely on their information, but you've got to double check their information. And that's just, unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
And it's across the board. Let's say you go to a chiropractor and you don't want your neck adjusted. Just say no. Let's say you see me and you're like, you know what? I hate needles. We'll have a conversation. Maybe I'll find ways to work without needles. Maybe I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to do one or two that need to be done, but I'll always honor yourself no matter what, because you know yourself better than anyone else ever will, whether or not you admit it yet.
It's the truth.
Always honor yourself.
It is such the truth. And I guess it goes back to fundamentals. Nobody is going to love you more, have your back, take care of you, understand you better than you. No one. It's impossible. You keep looking for, a perfect partner, whatever it might be. Ultimately, it's you.
Yes. But some people, it takes a little bit of a journey to get to that point where they love themselves, take care of themselves. Or ultimately, yes.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's part of the journey. And that's part of where you come in to help with that journey. You have a couple of ways that we can reach you. How do we do that?
Level3coaching.com, spelled out, scarsdalehealth.com. And from there, you can find me pretty easy.
Yeah, thank you for your transparency today and peeling back the veil. It's interesting.
Well, I only hope that as a patient, it is your body. It is your choice. My body, my choice. That is the most applicable thing. You do it.
And think of it this way too. You're making a purchase when you go to a doctor. You have a copay. You have a deductible. You're making a purchase. Never forget that. We just take it for granted. Oh, I have insurance. No, there's money that is being spent. Would you just walk into a store and just close your eyes and just grab anything off the shelf and throw your credit card? No, you got to keep it. There's financials involved here as well.
I literally tell that to clients and patients. I say, this session is for you. It is not for my benefit. If at any point, blah, 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 if you want me to, blah, blah, blah. So I want those lines of communication open.
Sure.
Because usually I can find the resistance before they even know it's there or say anything. But yeah, otherwise speak up. It's important.
Thank you for today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.